They are not hiding. They are choosing. Some people never post their face, and everyone starts guessing why. A photo is taken, the thumb hovers over share, then the phone slowly lowers. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. People call them insecure, boring, secretive, or too private. But sometimes the strongest confidence does not ask to be witnessed. They step out of the frame while everyone else moves closer to the camera. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. This is the psychology behind people who keep photos private. They do not need visual proof to feel real. For them, a good life does not require public evidence. They can enjoy a meal without turning it into a performance. At dinner, someone raises a phone for the perfect shot while the private person waits. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They know memory feels different when it is lived, not uploaded. Their joy does not become more real because strangers can verify it. At a concert, the camera rises, then drops as the person chooses to watch directly. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They are not missing the moment. They are finally inside it. They choose privacy over popularity. Privacy is not always fear. Sometimes privacy is self-respect. They believe access to their face and family is earned. A profile page scrolls past empty photo spaces, then stops on a blank avatar. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. One viewer said it best: private life has a door. That boundary may look extreme in a culture addicted to exposure. But boundaries are how intimacy keeps its value. It protects peace. Instead of posting publicly, they send one photo privately to someone who matters. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They reject the emotional transaction of posting. Posting a photo can become a trade, a tension in exchange for peace. The feed refreshes, likes appear, and the face keeps checking for more. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. Some people feel that loop and decide not to enter it. They do not want self-worth rising and falling with reactions. They are not anti-connection. They are anti-scoreboard. It protects peace. A person deletes a drafted post, breathes out, and locks the screen. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. The relief afterward tells them what they needed to know. They are comfortable being unseen. Being unseen does not frighten them the way it frightens others. They know who they are when no camera is present. That is stable identity, a self not built from feedback. A crowded room turns toward a group photo while one person keeps walking calmly. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They may still take pictures, but not for public approval. Some keep photos for loved ones, not for validation. The audience changes everything, so they choose the right audience. They understand the cost of exposure. Every photo online becomes identity outside your control. It protects peace. It can invite comparison, gossip, screenshots, assumptions, and unwanted access. A photo travels from one screen to another, then another, losing context each time. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. That does not mean hide. It means sharing has a cost. Private people simply calculate that cost earlier. It protects peace. They would rather be underestimated than overexposed. It protects peace. Old posts are selected one by one, archived, and the feed becomes clean. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They are observers, not performers. People who post less often notice more. It protects peace. They see how quickly real moments become staged moments. A group shifts posture the second the camera opens, then relaxes when it closes. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. That contrast makes them cautious about turning themselves into content. They prefer understanding people to advertising themselves. It protects peace. When they speak, it tends to be intentional. It protects peace. They close the camera app and rejoin the conversation without announcing anything. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They are not ashamed of their appearance. One ugly myth says they must dislike their own face. Sometimes they refuse to turn beauty into a marketplace. They need no public proof to believe they are enough. A beauty filter is toggled on, then off, and the unfiltered image stays private. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. Self-acceptance is quieter than validation, but it lasts longer. Their confidence is not built for display. It is built for living. That kind of confidence does not need an audience to survive. They are doing instead of posting. Many viewers put it simply, doing instead of posting is the key. A person starts a run while the phone stays locked in a small bag. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. When attention returns, books get read and projects move forward. Their silence is not absence. It is where the work happens. A workspace changes from cluttered phone distraction to focused creation. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They are not falling behind. They are building without broadcasting. The reward is progress nobody can take away. It protects peace. They are not superior. They are selective. The point is not that posting photos is wrong. Some people share beautifully, creatively, and honestly. It protects peace. The difference is choice. Private people want sharing to remain optional. A person opens the app, pauses, then chooses close friends instead of public feed. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. They do not lecture everyone else. They just protect their own peace. That humility matters because pride can become another performance. True privacy does not need to announce itself every day. The deeper truth, they own their image. At the deepest level, they know their image belongs to them. Not to an algorithm, not to a trend, not to strangers. The feed keeps moving, but they turn toward real life. They are not disappearing. They refuse to be captured cheaply. They may still be social, loving, funny, ambitious, and present. You just cannot reduce them to a grid of photos. A camera frame remains empty while the person walks into real sunlight. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. You do not need to be seen to be someone. If you do not post photos, you are not automatically insecure. Maybe you learned peace is more valuable than applause. Maybe you do not need strangers to confirm your existence. A final photo is taken, saved privately, and the phone slips into a pocket. The movement makes the private choice unmistakable. Maybe the best parts of your life are allowed to stay yours. Confidence is not how often you appear online. It protects peace. It is how calmly you keep living when nobody watches, measures, likes, saves, or turns your private life into proof. If this feels like you, comment why you keep photos private. Subscribe for more psychology about quiet people and hidden behavior.